Hello and welcome to our January Power Hour. So excited to have you guys here. Today we are going to be talking about World Tour 2021. Definitely a different feel than we've had before. This is my 9th World Tour, and it was definitely different, but not less exciting than everything else. So I'm going to start just with some reminders. I think everybody that's on right now knows all this, but just for the recording purposes, in case anybody jumps on, 5 more days and we launch our new spring and summer season. Super excited about that. That catalog is amazing. I say that every single time, but I always think, how can Scentsy like outdo itself? And they always do. So I'm super excited. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you have all your tools, your catalogs, your testers ordered if you haven't already, because you're going to want to have those things in hand for to be able to show your customers. Second thing is cancellations are starting in February. Please, if you're a leader or above, make sure that you're looking at the reporting tab to see who's on the will cancel list. Right now, Scentsy has changed it where it's not every 4 months, it's once a year. So they're going from February 2020 to January 31st. They have to have a 200 PRV order within 1 month of a year period. So if you have anyone, I encourage you reach out to them. You give them some ideas. We still have a couple of days, like Ashley said a few minutes ago. You know, maybe they can do like a Cinderella challenge and message a couple people. They can for sure sell 10 mini warmers and get active so they don't lose their account. And real quickly, I just kind of wanted to go over the roll-ups, because we've been seeing that on our team a lot, but some people were confused on some of the Scentsy pages, so I thought I would just go over it really quickly. So if you are a leader, meaning you have people under you, whether you're a leader above or you're a certified consultant with just teammates under you, and you are not personally active in a 4-month period, you will lose your downline. So your downline will roll up to your sponsor. If you are a lead or above, you will also end up losing your title. So it's very important that if you have a team, that you want to make sure that you have a goal of at least being active so that you can keep your teammates. It's just a way that Scentsy figured we could be able to help those downlines that are working their business. When some leaders decide that they don't want to do the business aspect, they just kind of want to do like be a hobbyist. So if you have any questions about that, message me, or you can use a chat. Let me know and I can kind of try to clear that as much up to you guys as possible. I'm going to turn the time over to Ashley to go over some of the takeaways from World Tour, and then I will come back at the end. Okay.
Okay. So I had 2 topics that I wanted to share tonight. One of them was the keynote speaker that we had named Kendra Hall, and then the other was refocus. So reset was the theme of World Tour this year. So reset, 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 reset. But along the way, like there were a couple other words. We had reset, reevaluate, refocus, and reengage. So I took a lot of notes on refocus and wanted to share those with you. So let's first start though with Kendra Hall. I had never heard of Kendra Hall previous to her speaking at our event, and what she had to say really spoke to me, which is interesting because she prides herself in being a storyteller. So I took a lot of notes on what she said. I've watched her video or her little section of the training a couple different times, and each time I pick up a different piece of something that I didn't hear previous to it. So ultimately, what is your story? That is what she was talking about. What is your story and how are you telling it? So that is, if we, ask one thing from my portion of this conversation, I would love to know what your story is. She told us a little bit about the science behind what is your story. She talked about how when someone is telling you a story and you're interested, your brain releases cortisol and oxytocin, and it makes you more excited. She told us this story about her best friend when she was in elementary school and how the principal really enjoyed this best friend, and he would walk up and do like finger guns and say Molly, Molly, Molly. And she, that stuck in her brain because I don't know, like who knows why people do that, but that portion of grade school stuck in her brain. And the moment that her principal recognized her along with Molly, 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 it meant so much to her. And so she decided that that was a portion of her story. So like I said, the question is what is your story? So if you're on my team, I'm going to be doing kind of an intense little training about this, because a little personal information with me right now is I have to travel home to Kansas on Friday to go see my dad. My dad was recently put on hospice, and this ties in with Scentsy because I paid for my plane ticket with my Scentsy commission. So I am able to go home and make lasting memories with my dad because of Scentsy. So I'm still working it out in my mind on how I want to advertise that. I don't want to sound salesy as I share this. However, I am going to share a little bit about my dad and then tie it in with Scentsy on how Scentsy is going to bless me with the opportunity to go home, to make those memories, to be there, you know, to let him know that I'm okay and all of those things. So that is a piece of my story. I think that our story evolves over time. It's going to be at the beginning of your Scentsy journey is going to be completely different than what your Scentsy story is going to be 2 years later. I know that Liz can attest to from day one is absolutely different than what today is. So it's just, you have to find out what your story is, and you need to make it interesting. So don't be like, oh, I just joined because I was bored. Like no one cares about that. You need a Molly, Molly, Molly. You need something that is going to trigger a memory in someone's mind, a scent. Like every now and then there will be a scent that comes across that I'll smell and I'll think of my mom. And my mom passed away 8 years ago. And so of course that's something that sticks with me and is super important to my heart. And then I will add that scent to my Scentsy Club and all of these things. But then of course I share that with my customers. Not only are my customers, they're my customers because they like me and my story, but they're also interested in why I've chosen a scent that I'm going to keep forever. So share that stuff. Don't be afraid to share your story. There's so many times that we kind of get inside of ourselves and forget to share the story because we are having an off day and we don't think that they care, but they care. They care. They care for sure. So share what you're doing, how you're doing it, but most importantly, share all of the pieces of you because it is your story and they want to see it. So that being said, I have a note to say something that Kendra said. It is, we don't buy the thing, we buy the story. So if you think about that, I just told you about how there will be a scent that comes across and I'll think of my mom. I'm not buying that scent because it smells good. I'm buying it because it reminded me of my mom. So I don't know, think about that a little bit. Because that, that can either pull on your heartstrings or not, but it makes me feel a little happy to think about my mom. So there you go. missing my mom, put in the scents, and then I'm good to go for a little bit. So Liz, do you want me to keep going with refocus, or do you want to jump in with something else?
I just want to touch base on that when you use the scent example, because I remember when we got blue hyacinth in our kit, I remember like the day I smelled it, I was in my office when it was in the last bedroom and I was doing a live. And as I smelled it, tears started strolling down my face because it reminded me of my grandmother so much. You guys, I think I sold so much of that bar because of the fact that it was tied to a story. My customers could relate to that bar because I was selling it. Like it's when we get one of those scents and we describe it with, oh my gosh, this reminds me of baking cookies with my mom or with my grandma or something like that. You're selling a story to your customers because now they get to transport themselves back to that. And on a coaching call that I had with Sydney a couple months ago, I was talking about how I wanted to share things that I was doing with Scentsy without being salesy. And I told her, I was like, like sometimes I'm just amazed at how I can pay for my groceries, because before Scentsy, we were living paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes we didn't have anything but $25 for the week. And she's like, share that. There's so many people that are struggling with, their groceries or to pay the light bill. So sometimes just look at what are the little things that Scentsy is giving you. Maybe it's paying for extracurricular activities, or maybe it's paying for that day trip to the parks, or maybe it's paying for your kid's yearbook. Whatever it is, share that, because someone on your circle might be having that same struggle and might see that, hey, like if she's doing it, I can do it too. So I love that. I just wanted to touch base on that.
See, it's amazing. It's amazing. And oh my gosh. Okay. So I have never smelled the blue, however you said it, hyacinth. So I'm excited that it'll be back and I get to smell it.
And I can add it to Scentsy Club.
That's right. Okay. So the other portion that I wanted to share was refocus. I'm really good at losing my attention on things. I'm very, very distracted all the time. So refocus kind of spoke to me. So a couple of the notes that I wrote down here is this could be something great if I let it. Like, so that was a good reminder to me, because we have to get out of our own way. So we need to refocus on the things to continue to go forward, because without it, you could easily lose your focus and then you forget how amazing you are. And then you just go, okay, all right, 1 month I wasn't active, and then 2 months I wasn't active, and then 3 months, and then you just, So refocus. Now, so number one, if you need to refocus, these were the tips that they had. Number one, pick one thing to focus on. What is one thing that isn't going to overload me? I personally, I am very busy. I have a full-time job. I work Scentsy full-time, Scentsy director. I have a family, husband, 2 children, lots of pets. Thank you, Cooper's bringing in my scent of the month that just came. And what else do I have going? Oh, I am a college student. And so I'm just doing something all the time, nonstop, all the time. So I have to pick one thing to focus on. So the notes that I wrote down were specific. Pick one thing so you can be far more productive. Because if you try to do everything all at once, it's going to be too much and you're just going to not do anything. And that is my life. I'm a person that when I start to feel super anxious, I have to make a list or I get nothing done. So number 2, stay committed to the one thing. And people usually say that if you try something and you do it for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So that is not what our leaders were saying on this part. They said 6 months. Do the thing for 6 months, and then you're going to start seeing real results. So 6 months. Stay focused, be consistent, develop the knowledge and skills. So teach yourself so you can do these things and do it for 6 months, and then you won't even have to think about it anymore. It'll just become part of your natural progression of your business and your life. And then the third thing was don't get distracted. So that one is big for me. Don't let the squirrels come in and distract you. So you need to make time. Don't compare yourself. Your journey is your own. And then also remember that every consultant has their own strength. So I might be really good at describing things that remind me of my mom. That's the thing that's in my head from our conversation here. Where I know that Liz is really good at doing something completely different. Or I might be really good at doing a live video where she is really good at doing her follow-up system. So don't think that my journey is the same as her journey, because it is not. She's not a college student. I'm a college student. So that right there sets us worlds apart. So that was the big thing. So I made myself a goal, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So if you guys can refocus and think on that one thing, I am going to look forward for annual mentor this year, this upcoming year. So that's the big thing for me. So that is my one focus. So I need to train myself on recruiting. I need to train myself more on getting the people to go up, shooting star, sensational star, all of those things, as well as allowing them to build their own teams as we go along. So I have a lot of work I got to do, but I think that if I can focus and be committed for 6 months or more, I think that I can get it done. So there you have it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And you got this, girl. Annual mentor in the bag. I wanted to share two things too. The first thing I'm going to share is one of the things that I love, because you guys know I love numbers, but I want to share it because I want you guys to see the potential that you guys can have with Scentsy. In a year where businesses were closing down, direct sell companies were closing their doors, direct selling companies were classified as non-essential, and so they couldn't process orders. Scentsy was just in a hyper growth. So from Dan Orchard's talk, he said that we sold over 130 million products. That's 55 million more than in 2019. We had our first $15 million hour, which was on September 1st. Jack Skellington again. We did over $880,000 million, which is an 87% increase from year 2019. So in 2019, I think we sold about 400 and something million. So we almost doubled. We had 265,000 consultants around the world, with 128,000 of them being new consultants. That is ridiculously crazy. Like if you think of just how we have 365 days in a year, it just blows my mind how many people were joining on a daily basis. We celebrated our 10th year anniversary of our Scentsy Buddies, and the child was #1 in 2020. The Jack mini warmer was #1 with 148,643 units sold. Over the past 10 years, Scentsy has been able to donate $13.5 million. Luna's Scentsy bars surpassed the 1 million mark. And when people were laying off, Scentsy was able to hire 1,300 new employees. When I say Scentsy has our back and that we have an amazing product to offer, like this is exactly why. And I think Scentsy has been able to always kind of overcome things because of the community that they've built. But one of the things that really, really like touched me when I was listening to World Tour was re-engagement. I think we all kind of go through this with our customers, with our team, and I kind of want to just focus on the team part because I think as leaders we often struggle. I know I go through this all the time when we feel like we're not engaged with our team. So I want to remind you guys that first of all, your business should always come first. I know that that's something that I always struggle with. So don't look at me for an example on there. Always put your business first. Make sure that you have your month planned out, that you have your parties booked, that you have, one-on-ones with your customers or events, however you run your business, booked before you're focusing on what to offer your team. Second, still try to build that community with your team because when we achieve more when we work together. That's one thing that I strive for a lot is to have that community feel on our team page. And so I kind of watched this breakout session, which was called Re-engage with Your Team by Johanna Luna. And she was talking about a little bit about her story, how she joined, she had a lot of success. She promoted to star. And then all of a sudden she just kind of let her business go. And she said, I let it go because I was disengaged. No one in my upline was reaching out to me to like help me with my struggles, teach me how to motivate my team or to lead my team. And so she felt disengaged, and she said when teammates feel disengaged, they often quit. So when we are a leader, whether we are a leader of one or a leader of 100, we have to remember that we set the tone for the culture we want on our team. And while we often tell you guys, do not go like start a team page as soon as you have one team member. You can still set the culture for your team by being present on the group pages, right? Or like showing up for the team stuff. Because when you are showing them by example, they're still watching you. Like they're still watching, like, does she, congratulate others? Should I congratulate others? If my sponsor's not doing it, should I not be doing it? It's always an often question when people are joining, especially if they're first timers to direct sales, because they don't really know the culture. One thing that she talked about was tracking your team and helping you like have a system to keep them engaged. So one thing that I do, and I will upload these to the team page, I think I already have, but I will double check, is doing your frontline focus. And this is a system that helps you determine how often your team is active, if there's any rock stars under them that you could be helping. Now, with smaller teams, it's kind of easier to keep track of because we might be like, okay, like I know that this person just joined to get the discount, or this person just joined to be a kidnapper. But as your team grows and they start sponsoring, it might get a little difficult for you to know each and every one person what their goal is ultimately. So by having a frontline focus, it has helped me for sure to be able to discover rising stars underneath hobbyists or people that were a leader and then decided they don't want to do Scentsy anymore. It has helped me to see patterns, like when is it that they ordered? Like I try to write notes on my frontline focus. Like for example, like I had a teammate that she placed a $200 order and it was when Marvel dropped. She has 2 boys, so I put on the thing, Marvel came out. So that I know that when those LTOs come out, I know that she will probably be active. And always remember, she said this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I always have to remember this. And I tell this to myself all the time. New consultants don't know the lingo. So we have to make sure that they're understanding things like shooting star, sensational star, what is annual sales and annual mentor, because some of the new people are capable of earning that too. We have a friend, Michaela, she's not even a year into Scentsy and she's almost at annual sales and annual mentor. So you never know when your rock star is going to sign up. So you want to make sure that you are engaging with them and guiding them, and not only like you don't want to just drop them off when they certify or when they hit their shooting star or their sensational star, you want to walk with them in this journey so they don't feel alone. She also talked about the checklist for new teammates, and I've shown you guys that, but I will share it with you guys again about like what to do at like 24 hours a week, 15 days, 70 days, etc. Because I always feel like I want all the information, like give me all the information, but I know some people will feel very overwhelmed if I were to give them all the information, warmer of the month, and like new seasons kit and all this stuff, and they'd be like, what? I gotta buy all that? They don't. But if I have more time to calmly explain things to them, I won't overwhelm them. And always remember, as you're engaging with your team members, that you might be the only person in their corner. You might be the only person that believes that they can do this. Some people join Scentsy because they really need a change in their lives. I met a lady once that was sharing her story, and she said that she was at a point in her life where she needed an out of her relationship and she didn't have a job. And Scentsy was that out. Scentsy was what distracted her, what helped her with her stress, and what eventually gave her the financial means to be able to leave that. Now, she probably didn't have her significant other on her corner. She might have not had family in her corner. So not everyone is strong enough to believe in themselves right off the bat, especially if they have failed before. So when you show your team members that you believe in them, whether it's to do 200 PRV a month, to do 1,000, to do 2,000, it goes a long way. We want to empower, equip, but not enable. And that I will repeat again. We want to empower, equip, but not enable. You guys will often hear me on the team page or on trainings talking about how I can't do it for you guys. I don't do well with excuses, because I know people and myself that we do this regardless of our situation. I know single moms, I know people going through divorces, I know people that have had deaths in their family, people that work 2 jobs, people that have kids, people that don't have kids, that their excuses are their motivations. So I don't enable very well. I don't have I guess like an easy side for excuses. And when people give me excuses, I try to give them solutions. And I will quickly pick up on the fact of it's a person that's just going to do excuse after excuse after excuse, or if they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'll give that a try. Because sometimes we don't think about something, right? Like, again, somebody might be new, somebody might not, it might not come to them at that time because they're going through life. So we can empower them by showing them that we believe. We can equip them by showing them where to get the answers, how to run this business, giving them the information that we can, but we don't have to enable. Another thing that she said that I loved was every leader should be an active participant on the team pages. You guys, I can't say that enough. Like, I love our team page. It's something that I have like a vision. I'm like, I want the community feel. I want to shout people out. I want to celebrate. But I also like agree, like you have to, if you're a leader, especially, you have to show up. Your team are going to mimic what you do. So if you don't show up, your team will feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to post on this page. Oh, I'm not going to shout my person out because like so and so didn't shout me out, or because, and it might just be that you forgot that day, but we should strive to be active on team pages. When we sponsor, right, we can't do it for them. We can only give them the information and try to be there for them, right? But we also want to work on retaining, because it's easier to work with people and help them grow if they're willing to, than to go find 5 new people. So we want to work on retaining. And the last thing that she said that really struck out to me, and I was like, wow, like this was kind of a slap on the face. I've always have heard the term reward what you want repeated. So I always like look for things like, okay, I really want my team to grow in this area, so I'm going to reward people who are at 2,000 PRV, or people that are sponsoring. But she said, when you're doing your frontline focus, you need to be looking out for patterns. Don't only shout the top PRV. Look for those who usually only have 200 PRV and all of a sudden they got 500 or 1,000. They might not be in the top, but for them, it's a huge win. And I said, oh my gosh, like that is so big. You know, maybe you have a person on your team that they're active every 4 months, but then all of a sudden they're active 2 months in a row. Celebrate them for being active 2 months in a row. It doesn't matter that they only got 200 PRV. It might be huge for them. They might have gone a party out of nowhere. They might have gone a new customer that was like, I need to order Scentsy for my whole house. They might have stepped out of their comfort zone and talked to someone that they just met about Scentsy, and that person did a party for them or whatever. So you never know what happened. That for them might be a huge win, but they don't want to toot their own horn, because I know that a lot of us don't like tooting our own horns. I've jumped over that. I had to toot my own horn for so long that I'm accustomed to it. But I know for a lot of us, it's not easy. So I loved when she said that, because I was like, you know, I tend to celebrate, you know, the top PRV, and I do like the top 10, and I do who sponsored and who promoted and all that kind of stuff. But I said, wow, like I don't look out for patterns and then let them know that I'm proud of them. Again, we might be the only person in their corner. We might be the only person that believes that they can do this. And we've seen how Scentsy has changed lives. I literally cried when Deanie was telling her story, because I've always, every time I've heard Deanie speaks, she speaks with like power and like so much confidence. I've never seen her vulnerable, but I've been where she has been. I've been in those moments where you don't know if you should pay your electric bill or you should buy food to put on the table. And so seeing her that vulnerable, like really touched me. You don't know when someone is struggling, and Scentsy might be the key to changing their whole life. And because you believed in them, they took that leap. They took that chance on themselves. Maybe you reach out to them and you're like, hey, I just wanted to say hello. How are you? I've been thinking about you. And they're like, oh, my sponsor reached out to me. Like, you know, she cares about me. And that might be like, you know, I'm gonna take a catalog with me to this next birthday party or whatever. You never know when a little thing that we do, a little just grain of salt, will like season their feast. So I really like that. I really like the re-engagement thing, because I feel like sometimes we get discouraged as leaders when we're trying to engage with our team and we're not getting anything back. But think of when you're going to engage with your team, I don't want you to think of the times that you haven't been able to. I want you to think of, how would I feel if the community that I'm trying to build, or when the community I'm trying to build is built? How would I feel when we're all gathering together, laughing, sharing memories, having these friendships, empowering one another? How are you going to feel then? Focus on that. Don't focus on the negative. And I assure you that it will come easy, even if you don't get responses, because you're doing it because you care, because of that, like dream, that goal of that community, and you will end up building it, even if it's not with the people you have right now. So, does anybody else want to share anything else or have any questions?
I just want to reiterate what you said, because the culture that we help make, it's, you know, it's everything, and it doesn't have to be from day one. Like you can do it at any point. So just include everybody, make everybody feel like that's their home, and then it will be, and it'll be amazing. So I loved that part of what she said. Everything she said was amazing, but especially that.
I loved it. I was like, I wrote notes on my receipt because I forgot my notebook. So now I get to rewrite it. But you guys, if you guys haven't finished watching World Tour, I highly, highly recommend you guys finish watching World Tour. And if you didn't get to register, it will be available on the training station after, I think, 30 days. Or you can get together with your sponsor or anyone to do like a watch party, maybe watch it over Zoom or watch it at someone's house. I highly encourage you guys to encourage you guys to do it. Those who show up, go up. Every event, I kind of keep track record of who goes to events. And every event, when I see people go to events and they focus and they take what they've learned and they apply it into their business, I see growth. I've experienced it myself. I see it in others. And so I truly believe that those who show up, go up, even when we're sacrificing. I know that for a lot of us, like right now, it's bedtime. It's time that, like my husband just got home. We're sacrificing for our business, but you guys, when you guys put these things into practice, I assure you, your business will go so much further. And one day these sacrifices will be like so long gone. So,
And I am proof that you go to events and they change your life. Last year, I was just a certified consultant, and today I'm a director.
yep.
And it all started at World Tour.
With no goals, I was like, girl, we got to get some goals on that paper.
Right. No goals other than looking for my place. And I was lucky enough to find my Scentsy tribe right here.
Yep. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a great night. If nobody else has any questions, then I will talk to you guys throughout the month, but I will see you guys at the next Power Hour in February. Okay, bye.